Dyson dc65 multi-floor against the Shark-powered rotator liftaway. I've owned the Dyson longer than the Shark. Both machines are dirty at the moment. As you can see with the Shark, I mean, the dust cup's pretty... I mean, it is in cleaner shape, but the filter's a little brown, like, you probably can't really tell, but whatever. You can see there's some dust on some surfaces, but there's no dust on the outside, so that's a good, important part to mention. At least nowhere that the dust's escaping that's causing it. It's more just from setting. The Dyson has more in it, like this fine dusty powder, but that's because I used it to clean something. I think I might have vacuumed my bed with it or something. I don't really remember. But anyway, I dumped out the Dyson over here, and I'm just going to use like half and half and do a little bit for Shark and Dyson. I sprinkled a little bit of oatmeal out here, sprinkled a little bit in here as well, but then I made these two trails. They're the same length, kind of the same width apart. I mean, I'm not going for specifics. This isn't Consumer Reports, but I kind of did it just to show like a large portion of dirt to show like how well it picks up like a large amount. Or it's also a good comparison to show like how much surface dirt it really is leaving behind, as well as underneath in large piles or anything like this, because there's going to be a couple times in like your vacuum cleaner's life where you do have a big mess like this that you just decide to run over. And I will make sure that when I do vacuum over this strip, it's not in the brush roll line, so, or the belt, so I'll vacuum probably over closer to here. Both vacuums have a central suction path, so I will try and make sure that the I get it as close to the center as possible, but away from the belt guard. And the Shark, I believe, the Shark has a chevron style brush roll, and the Dyson has a spiral style. Now, the part that I like about my Shark is, first of all, I actually paid about the same for both of these machines. The Shark I paid like $280 for, and the Dyson I got at Sears as a closeout, and I'd say that it was probably about $280, $290. Probably a little over $3 when taxes came around. The Dyson, I bought it because we got Persian cats. I went out that same day, decided to buy a Dyson. Same carpet and everything that we have now. This Dyson's probably a year and, I don't know, 6 months old, a year and a half old. Actually, it is. It's exactly a year and a half old. Probably even close to the date, too. I got it in February, like around Valentine's Day. So, yeah, today's like August 14th or something like that. So, it's been almost exactly a year and a half. The one thing that I really don't care about my Dyson is the hose. First of all, the wand is kind of pointless. It's kind of hard to do. There we go. The wand is kind of pointless on this machine because it's one of those hoses that kind of twist while you stretch it. And there's really no comfortable way to hold this because they eliminated how the handle came out of the unit too. With the dc65 or whatever it was, the slimmer style ball, not the not the slim, like the dc17, but I think it was the dc25, or maybe it was something like that. I think the dc16 or the dc15, that was the big giant Dyson ball. But when they slimmed it down and they had like a back pedal release here and the hose kind of wrapped around the ball portion, that is kind of the Dyson I'm talking about. But there's no tools required to assemble this. There's just this tab right here in the back of the handle, and it just clicks into place. But you can see when you try and go to pivot this, what happens first is you can see the handle, you can hear it creaking, it's just a thin piece of plastic. I mean, you can see how thin this plastic is. I wish the light was... I'm going to turn this light on. Just a second. You can see how thin this plastic is. It's very thin. Even around the front. It's very thin plastic. The handle, it's about as thick as a quarter. Just really cheap plastic. It's actually thicker up here than it is down here. And even this piece, this is really just cheap, thin, flimsy plastic. And when you get it on a surface... Trying to get my camera to readjust. When you get this on a surface like my carpet in the other part of the house, it sucks itself right down with that active base plate. And when you try and turn it, I mean, you can see, you really have to give it a lot of force to get it to spin. And it just bends the handle before it actually starts to pivot the machine. They, of course, like I said, they eliminated that easy, quick release back pedal. And in here you can see that this is a little flipper. It connects. Let me see if I can get it to do it. This is a hose down in here. I can't, the lighting in this is terrible. My goodness. There's a hose down in here. I'm sorry. I know this is terrible. There's a hose right there. And that connects and disconnects when you pull the machine back. And I'm going to try and show you what I mean if I can get this stuff out of the way. My goodness. It kind of... Here's a good shot. You can see it connects and disconnects automatically like that. And you can see it's up inside here. It's just the little portion of the hose. It just flips back and forth. It's this piece right here. This connects to the hose to clean with, and then that flips down to vacuum the floors. Not a good design. That's why it makes that weird suction cut-off seal noise when you put it in the upright position when the machine's on. Or when you turn it on before you recline the machine, and then you recline the machine after you turn it on. It just makes that terrible, like, seal breaking sound. It's because of that. So I'll start with the Dyson first. I don't want to go into too far detail before I lose a bunch of time. And you heard that little suction brake seal sound. So, all in all, it did a pretty decent job. I do like the fact that you can just twist this and the hole underneath comes off. And you can see it did pick up all of the oatmeal after I ran over it like 3 times in some spots. And it did pick up whatever I dropped from the bin from vacuuming with this last, which I know it didn't come out of the floor. It came out of the hose when vacuuming, probably, like I said, a mattress of some kind. Now this little portion here, this is just a clean out, and that flips down, kind of neat, but the seal's kind of chummy. Now another thing that I want to point out, as you can see, like I said, they really did cheap down on the materials of this machine. I mean, even this crevice tool, really chintzy. So anyway, one thing that I do want to show is this seal. You can see it opens right up to the bagless canister on the inside of the vacuum. And when you turn the machine on, it's still, I mean, you can still break that seal. Because I mean, even if you look at it, oh my gosh, this lighting. It doesn't even completely, like, go flush with the bin. So, to me, that's a crappy design. It does seal decent when the vacuum's on. The one thing also is the filter on this vacuum is almost always clean. The pre-motor filter, it's right here. You can see it's pretty much always clean. It's always white. The bottom of it is purple. It's very clean. It's always clean. If you put your hand down in here, there's really no dust at all. At least underneath the filter. Now around these cyclones and stuff, there's going to be probably a little bit of dust, but I mean, it does do a very good job filtering. But if you actually look at the filter under here, it is kind of black. So now we go with the Shark. With the Shark, you're pretty much already agreeing to having to clean the filters much more often than your Dyson. Do I think that the Shark cleans better? I do. Okay. Now, when we vacuumed with the Dyson, you could see that line of dirt. I didn't stop with it because I was kind of zooming in close. But I'd just like to point out, this little speck and this little speck are the only 2 pieces. Oh, well, there's that as well. But I turned the vacuum off maybe here. I don't even really remember. But either way, doesn't even matter. The Dyson left a perfect line where it almost looked like it hadn't even been touched. So we'll keep going with the Shark. The only problem with these LED lights is it's hard to see what's right in front of the vacuum when the vacuum's on because of the lights. Okay, so the reason why my camera on my phone is not adjusting very well is because the light was perfect. It was sunny. Now it's gonna like rain or something. I don't know. But this carpet, it looks much cleaner on the Shark side. It's better groomed than the Dyson side, and I have walked on it quite a bit. But even, I mean, this is higher pile than that pile. I'm probably gonna have to make a part 2 of this because I'm already going over.